deal with that taste and drink that down. Well, you're not going to get healed. You're not going to get wealthy because the source of all that you can ingest. That's what I mean by you white people having skin that repels sunlight instead of absorb it. This is the most life-giving thing on this earth because it even made the air that you breathe. So this is important. You need skin that can absorb all of us coming from this, not skin that repels it and make you be so dull with it that when you look and see the other people that have skin synonymous with this, you want to hate that and make them be subservient to you and murder them. It's like you're never going to be held accountable for that. I'm just pointing this out to you guys so you can understand the true dynamics of our world and how we all need to start changing the way we think.
We see how this knowledge of astronomy is
that's what I
incorporated
mean.
into these monuments.
Now I'm going to show you what I mean.
Great places. A lot of buildings was intended to create these sight lines, to create these vantages for observation, to see and mark.
See, it's gone. They stole it. It's gone.
Important astronomical events.
We see that temples were aligned to specific moments in time, and the equinoxes and the solstices are the most important moments in time. So wherever we look, we see how this knowledge of astronomy is incorporated in.
See, there it goes. Now here's the point right here. And you can see that thing went right there on that point. That woman walking just like I was telling you. And there is the stairs right there, right between her legs. See, that's exactly what I was telling you. But now the thing is missing because they stole it. The gold cap is not there. They took it. But if the gold cap was still there, I guarantee you that point would be right here. And look, this the fell down right here because the point is missing would be right up here on top of that gold point. You can see that. Since they stole it, see, look. That would be top right there. See? And since they've stolen it, this thing falls down here and hits on the corner of that square. But if that gold top stone was still there, that would be the tip right there. And I guarantee you, this right here, this woman legs that I tell you while walking around on earth, will be right there on top of that thing. Making the sun strike a pose on the tip. And here's the staircase right here. That when the man falls out of the woman's vagina, he can walk down to the earth. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's what you're looking at. As above, so below.
To these monuments.
Plazas were great places where people stood and paid reverence to particular times of the year. These were places that were aligned from time immemorial, hundreds and hundreds of years, to make these specific observations.
But what, or perhaps who, were the Maya looking for in the sky? According to ancient astronaut theorists, the answer can be found carved in stone.
In Quirigua, Guatemala, there is a national park featuring zoomorphs. Zoomorphs are these giant boulders that were carved into different shapes. Some of them depict crocodiles, some of them depict turtles. But at the same time, the carvings are very reminiscent of something technological in nature. In fact, there is one boulder that we can see where this guy is essentially sitting inside some type of cockpit. Is it possible that this is nothing else but an artist's rendering of something that they didn't understand because their technological frame of reference was less advanced than our technological frame of reference we have today?
In the present-day Mexican state of Tabasco, near the Gulf of Mexico, lie the ruins of a ceremonial center called La Venta. Here, in 1862, oil riggers discovered 4 very large
that they didn't understand because their technological frame of reference was less advanced than our technological frame of reference we
See the
have
shroud?
today.
Always inside of the shroud. You see that?
In the present-day Mexican state of Tabasco, near the Gulf of Mexico, lie the ruins of a ceremonial center called...
Look at this. Look at it. See what I'm talking about? Inside of that shroud I tell you about? All the time, ain't it? Inside that female. Do you see? All the time.
La Venta. Here, in 1862, oil riggers discovered 4 very large stone heads in the Olmec area of Mesoamerica. Since then, archaeologists have unearthed 13 more similar sculptures that were carved as early as 850 BC. Known as the colossal heads, scholars believe they depict the Olmecs, an ancient civilization that many consider to be the ancestors of the Maya.
One of the most striking aspects of Olmec art and archaeology are these colossal head sculptures. And one of the hypotheses that's been put out to explain these is that they were portraits of important rulers, kings, shamans, important people in their society.
But ancient astronaut theorists contend the mysterious stone statues are proof of extraterrestrial intervention in the distant past.
Man hatte im Olmekengebiet riesige
Huge stone heads were found in the Olmec area, which were beautifully made, but then ritually buried. One asks, what is that? Are these heads of rulers or priests?
These heads got buried by white men. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you the people who came over here and did all the looting, see these heads right here, should have been accommodating with a whole lot of gold. See, there was a whole civilization of these people here that had these heads. Now, if they went underground and everything like I believe they did, the ones who didn't make it underground that were still above ground and everything, they still had places where these things were erect and above the ground. In order to cover up the crimes that they had committed, the white man hid these things in the ground because they were in places where we would have been walking around on the earth and all saw them. And it would have been obvious to everyone that the slaves that we were enslaving here in Americas had a connection with doing this great work. So they hid these things in the ground, all doing slavery and everything, because imagine a slave seeing his face in something big like this. After the white man done brainwashed him to believing that it was ordained by the universe for him to be a slave. Then one day he woke up on this colossal stone looking like him. It'll make him start wondering, wait a minute, where did this come from? I guarantee you the white man buried all these things, and he is the same person that buried them as he is the person that's excavating them right now today. He buried these heads and stole all of the artifacts of all the people that he murdered when he took these things and buried them to cover up his crime. And the reason why he could find them in the ground right now is because he know where they're at, because he put them there.
Or were they maybe aliens that they wanted to portray because they had unusual facial features?
Want me to prove it to you?
These
Watch
guys
this.
are often wearing strange helmets.
Let me prove it to you. They wanted to hide
The
our
mysterious
greatness.
stone statues are proof of extraterrestrial intervention in the distant past.
I tell you guys right now, I
Man
fly
hatte
the
im
ship.
Olmekengebiet riesige
Huge stone heads were found in the Olmec area, which were beautifully made, but then ritually buried. One asks, what is that? Are these heads of rulers or priests? Or were they maybe aliens that they wanted to portray because they had unusual facial features?
See, look. They tried to wipe the lips off. See that? They wanted to whack off the lips so you wouldn't see the black features. This is what they do. They cover up all of our greatness. And it's obvious to them that this is a helmet of a time traveler. It's obvious to them that we had always been flying through space. This is why they hid these things in the ground. This is why. Okay, they at the time that they hid these things in the ground probably wasn't aware themselves of what actually they were hiding. But I bet you they know now. Now that the Federation is here getting ready to kill they dumbasses.
These guys are often wearing strange helmets, and they look to be foreigners. They appear to be from Africa and the Middle East and other areas like that.
See, if you're on the earth, you're not a foreigner. That's only the way you white people think. Okay, that's only you white people who think that way. If you're on the earth, you live on the earth, which means that if you're in Africa and you come to America, they shouldn't be looked at if you're some type of alien or an invader. You live on the damn earth. That's only you white people that thinks that way and taught us all to think that way. But the fact of the business is that they are Africans and they were here in America because the people that you call Mexicans are Africans too. Everybody on this earth can trace their launching point back to Tanzania. Africa is the cradle of all mankind on this planet Earth. We were all born there, but then we all us melinated people, all the way down to New Guinea, South Pacific, Australia, freaking all up in Europe, all up in Canada, all in the Americas, all down in Argentina, okay? The damn Puerto Rican islands, the Caribbeans, the Atlantic islands, every place on earth that the white man went, he found black people there already. But in order for him to fit in history and lie about what he contributed to the world, he made up a story that he was ordained by God to make all the heathens of the world be godlike, and that he took all the black men from Africa and put us all over the earth, except for the people that was here in Africa that was Indian, that was here already when he got here. They weren't even Native Americans, so this land wasn't called American, and it was called, I think, Lemuria or whatever. I don't know. I think it was called Lemuria. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't take my word for it, because I get confused sometimes. But they lied, and they knew when they got here that they saw the same black faces here that they had saw in India, as well as in Asia, as well as in Africa. So instead of saying these are African people over here, because they didn't want you to understand who you are, because they were bringing slaves, stolen men and women from Africa over here. So the people that was already here knew. We all knew when we saw them bringing slaves off the boat, and the people that was already, they recognized those slaves coming over here from Africa as being their family members. And the people that was here, Geronimo and Sitting Bull and all them, they all knew the difference of opinion was not synonymous with the white man trying to make them believe that they were not one. They knew they were one. They knew that. And then he came over here and separated the people that was here. Blackfoot and Crow and Sioux and Cherokee. They all recognized themselves as being one too. But they just knew they were all different tribes. And all this war and stuff that he wants you to believe that they were having with each other, they were not. Because they were civilized and they was wise enough to know if we took care of the land, it'll be plenty enough for all of us. The only person who wants to pillage everything and get everything before somebody else get it is the Iceman. And that's the truth about it.
So what are they doing here in Central America? There you have this curious mix of different racial groups.
You know what's funny? It's okay for them to bring their ass all the way from Europe here to the Americas and don't find nothing disturbing or alarming about them being able to pull off such a feat. But then when it's the melinated man that does that, all of a sudden they got to go check charts and recalibrate everything. And let's really get to the bottom of this and let's figure it out.